about love. It's about marriage. Have I taught you girls nothing? Falling in love with love is falling for make-believe. Falling in love with love is playing the fool. Caring too much is such a juvenile fancy.
Hey guys, it's Skye here from Real Me TV, and today, from the intros, as you can probably tell, our topic is going to be about love and how it has affected me and how it affects others, and when to know when love is a good thing for you and then when love is a bad thing for you. Now, with me turning 17, one of the things that I've noticed is seeing love appear around me. And when it's like that, you have to know when to be accepting to it. And I feel like patience is another thing, because you don't really want to rush into things, because when you rush into them you get stuck, and when you get stuck it's sort of like, well, what am I supposed to do now? I don't know. For my birthday, my mom had taken me to this beautiful nail salon, and I'm so grateful. But I, being, the age that I am, this is a whole new field for me, and I'm just like, well, how are you supposed to act at 17? And I want to get others' opinions. So while we're in the nail salon, I talked to my friend, and she says, well, I really can't tell you my opinion on how to be a 17-year-old, because everybody handles being 17 differently. But for her at the time, she was just becoming pregnant. And this is what I say, when, to know when love is a good thing for you and when to know when love is a bad thing for you. Pressure is also one of the biggest issues that I feel is in the youth and, mature individuals as well. And no is also a word that, I myself have became familiar with, because in saying no, you develop a lot of different, boundaries. No isn't just, a negative thing. It could be a positive thing as well. No isn't just, downing yourself or constantly conflicting yourself and telling yourself what you can't get and what you can't have. Actually, no is something that helps build your self-esteem, because in saying no, you have to decide, well, since I can't get that, you have to think about how you can get it, or the processes on how to get it, or you have to think about how can you create something that's like that, because you can't automatically go to it. One thing that I also want to bring up is there was a J. Cole song, and he made it, I'm not really sure what the title of it was. I think it was called Love Yours. And I'm not sure what year it came out, because if it did, I would definitely tell you, but I'll put it in the description. Love was about a guy who back in the day, was young and vibrant and wanted to do all of this stuff, but at the same time, he didn't have things that were up to date, and his clothes looked a little bit, old, and people judged him because of that. So he went, to people who were of higher status, but were doing things in a negative way, like selling drugs and stuff. And he went to them and he was like, well, can I be a part of your crew? And they rejected him. And this is where the no comes in. It's a good thing that they rejected him, because he then had to go home and find a way to make his life work for him, but not in the way that he originally intended to. Now, from somebody else telling him no, he developed a great home, found an awesome wife and had a job, but the moral of the song was to teach you how to love yours and how to develop a sense of, I'm okay right now. I'm happy right now. I feel safe right now. I feel secure right now. And in saying that, I'm not settling. I'm not settling. I'm sorry. I am being myself. I'm comfortable with being who I am. I'm comfortable with accepting the things that I have, and I'm just happy and I'm grateful. And that is something that also comes along with, saying no to yourself mentally or to others. And when it comes down to building up love and how to transform and waver love so you can be investing it into somebody else, that's also a time consuming process, very long. It is a trust foundation. You have to have trust. That's another thing that I've learned. Without trust, you have nothing. And that's a quote that my mother had, instilled that in me for a while. Without trust, you have nothing. So you have to build up trust first in order to be able to say, okay, well, we can do this or we can do that. But without the trust being there, it's like, well, you can do all of this stuff, but then at the end of the day, you can't really fully confide in them because the trust isn't there. And when the trust isn't there, it's just like, oh my God, you're with the person that you don't trust. You gotta watch them 24/7 just because you don't trust them. But love can spread off into like 1,000 different branches. Love can be good, love can be bad. You could develop love because you're afraid, or you can develop love because you're tired of being alone, and that's not really a good thing, because on both sides of those, you have to love yourself first. And in loving yourself first, that's a long process too. Well, for some people it's a long process, but for others it may not be such a long process. But usually it's, finding yourself, being okay with who you found, and if you're not okay, be willing to take the steps to better yourself, for yourself. Then, after you love yourself and are comfortable with it, you can then move on to investing time and efforts into the goals that you want as an individual person. You can, say the things that you want to do, write down your list of future intentions and even maybe past intentions. This is a stage where you can uncover different things about yourself, like say if you're nervous or you have a certain disorder, you can then write it out and start to understand yourself a lot more than just having to guess things about yourself. A few years ago, I was in a relationship, but it was with a person, and the person was somebody who, I just wanted to rush into it because I felt alone, and this was so bad. Oh my God. It's embarrassing to talk about because it's just, when you rush, you look back on it and you see the mistakes that you made, but at the same time, along with being single, you can work on how to better yourself, and better yourself for your own reasons. There would be things that I would do that would be, too fast. There would be things that I would just like to, rush into, and now that I'm looking back on that time, I could really say, well, you know what? I didn't have to do it, It's sort of like forcing, like, okay, on the first date or something, go to the movies instead of staying at home watching movies. Well, I want to go out and I want to show you to the world. You're my boyfriend. I want to show you off. And I don't even know if that's the person that I'm going to be with for even a 2-month span period. I'm just so excited to the point where I just want to show off. But the thing is that he's not even the type of person that I should be showing off with. If anything, I should be taking things a lot slower and investing the time in myself first. And that's something my mom always said, you're your own best friend. At the end of the day, you're your own best friend. You can always confide in yourself. You can always trust yourself. And in saying that, you become more sophisticated, more independent instead of dependent. You become more willing to trust your own decisions. And growing up, it was seeing certain females that would live around my town, and I would just look at them and say, you know what, I don't want to be that type of girl, because it didn't make any sense to me. Like at times where I would see, and this is just, coming from me, I would see older women and they would be standing at the bus stop, and I would feel very, very bad for them. And at the same time, I would think, well, what did they do in their life to the point where they're not in a limo right now, or they're not in a Cadillac right now, or they're not in a taxi right now, I don't know, or have their own car. When you look at life and in the aspects of love too, and I don't know, the females could have been working up to it, but like I said, this is all just in my opinion, and that's sort of where my mind goes. It sort of triggers like, well, you don't want to be like that, so in order not to be like that, you have to have good time managing skills in order to know what to invest your time in to make sure you don't end up like that. And it's sort of like being like, well, okay, when I'm 80, where do I want to be? Do I want to be standing at a bus stop? I mean, not to be rude at all, but do I want to be standing outside in fall or in the wintertime being really, really cold? Or do I want to be in my heated car driving to wherever I'm going, hopefully not to work because I'm retired by that time, and just chillaxing with myself and my family? That is where my mind goes when I see certain things like that. And you also have to have a strong mind, being an individual, to not be able to be easily impressed upon with different examples, because sometimes life can be very blunt and say, this is an option that you could have, this is something that you could do, even though you don't want to know, you don't want to see it for what it is, but that's an option, that's something that you could choose. And sometimes I get mad at that, but then other times I have to calm down and just be grateful, because I know that just seeing that can make my life a whole lot better. Seeing that one thing could turn my life around. Seeing that one thing could be the example to say, I'm going to be better than that. I feel like I have the potential to persevere upon all of these impressions. I feel like I can be myself and be comfortable and love more. I love myself and my things and my items, and be comfortable and grateful with who I am, so I can make that next step. And before I sneak out of here, I have one more thing to say, and that is, if you feel like setting boundaries, it's okay to tell yourself no. It's okay to tell others no, because at the end of the day, it's your life that you have to live, and if you made the decision, honor it, stand by it, represent it, and go have a beautiful, wonderful, happy life. And until next time, stay natural.
It's the way that we feel.